Hello. Let me get my camera mirrored here so we're right reading. Welcome, Birdie here with Redbird Designs, and I am on day 2 of our paint challenge. So I made it to day 2, guys. Oh my goodness. So as you hop on, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. If you are doing the February Flower Art Challenge, I would love to hear how it's going. What did you paint? And let me get my comments up. This challenge can be done in a sketchbook. You could use an old, just an old repurposed children's book or any sort of book that you might have. I find it's just super interesting and fun to use an old book to paint in something that was going to get discarded. And so that's what I'm doing. I have this old book I picked up. I don't even remember, but it was going to probably get discarded. And so I rescued it. And now I'm painting in it. I've gessoed all my paper. Which means I just went through and took some gesso. You could use white paint as well. But I painted everything just a light coat of that. I let it dry, then I flipped the page and so on and so forth. So just a fun way to reuse a book. And I'm going to use this to do my, I'm trying to get my comments up here. And on TikTok. So as you hop on TikTok, hello, welcome. Birdie here, and we are doing a February paint challenge. Make sure to hit the follow button, and so you know when we go live. I'm going to be trying to paint all month. That is my goal. So we'll see how well it works, and see how far we get. Okay, so yesterday I did the Illume painting. And then today I'm going to do the begonias. So on top of just painting a flower every day for the month of February, I've put a couple stipulations on myself just to help that, help keep me going, because sometimes certain things will stop me in my tracks. So one of the things is I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes. Because sometimes when I sit down to paint, or I think about painting, the time that is needed to paint sometimes can stop me, right? Like, oh, I can't give up an hour of time right now, or I can't give up an hour and a half. And sometimes paintings will continue on that long, and that's great. But this way, putting a 30-minute time limit on myself really helps keep me going, knowing that I have 30 minutes and I can spare 30 minutes. And it's super relaxing and super healing to paint. And so it is something that I'm committed to doing. The other stipulation is that I am doing a letter of the alphabet. Now I know that there's 28 days in February. There's not that many letters in the alphabet, but again, it's something that if I have to think about the flower that I'm going to paint, I'll end up scrolling through, which, I use Pixabay, if you haven't heard of that app. I use Pixabay to search for inspiration. It's a royalty-free app of pictures that you can use to create art from. So if I were just to type in flowers, I'd end up scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So I am putting that alphabet stipulation on myself. But I would love for you to join me in painting some flowers this month, whatever that looks like for you. And it doesn't even have to be painting. It could be colored pencils, it could be drawing, it could be sketching, it could be really anything. Watercolors, oil, whatever you want to do. And I might even throughout the month mix it up and move from acrylics and do watercolors, and I might add some mixed media in. I'm not quite sure, so we'll see how it goes. So welcome everybody. I hope everyone's having a good evening. And had a great day. Hello, Cara. How are you? I just finished making dinner, so I'm going to get my painting in real quick, and then I'm going to eat myself. I haven't eaten quite yet. I'm not that hungry. And then I will maybe watch some TV, relax. I have been dealing with a cold and trying to get over that, so let's see. So the flower for today is the begonia. I think I'm saying that right. I am by no means a flower expert. I want to start out by saying that, but I love painting them, and so there's that. So if I say a flower wrong, please forgive me. If I say a flower part wrong, please forgive me. Again, no expert. I just love painting them. So, hello, hello, welcome. Okay, so let's see, what do we got? I'll make sure I can see all my comments. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this white background. I hate starting with a white background. If I don't have to, I try not to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spritz a little water on my palette here, grab some of this burnt sienna, and then I'll also spritz my paper, get a little bit of wet down, and create a antique-y type wash, just to get rid of all that white. Sometimes that white paper can really just stop us in our tracks as well. So this is typically called toning your canvas or toning your paper, whatever you're using, right? Paper, canvas, sketchbook. And toning your canvas has, for me, it has a couple purposes. One, it gets rid of the white and allows me to see color a little better as I'm putting it on, because the white can kind of throw color off if you're trying to get a color a certain way. But the biggest thing for me when I tone a book or canvas, whatever it is I'm working on, is that it kind of just gives me that initial messy painting time to get into the painting. Because if you just sit down and you start getting into all this detail work right away, it can be a little intimidating and kind of put you off. So I like to just kind of get in here and get messy with my background, throw some brown down. Sometimes I'll do a teal background. And like I said, it just kind of helps loosen me up. It's kind of like the stretching of exercising. You know, you stretch before you exercise. It helps get your muscles loose. And that's what toning my surface is for me. Holy, I forgot to start my timer. And so I got to talking. That's what I do. I just kind of get in here and just throw some color down. And it helps. It helps loosen up my muscles. It helps keeps my mind loose, and helps me stop thinking about all the things that I could be doing right now or should be doing right now, and to just enjoy the moment. Okay, so I've chose begonias today. If we look at the Pixabay app and do a quick search. You'll just do another search. You'll notice that there are a ton of different begonias. There's actually, if you choose just a flower and search it, there's so many different varieties of certain flowers, but the ones that really stand out to me, the ones that I remember seeing in, local gardens, mom's garden, my mother-in-law's garden, are these types of begonias, um, where they have these extremely large, beautiful leaves, and then they're all on these stalks that have the cluster of flowers. So I have got my image here of the flowers that I'm going to do, and we'll get started. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to keep everything in screen. I'll try and stay. I think I've got it. I've got my palette. That's good. That's good. Okay. So if you have any questions about painting, I'd be happy to answer them. I've been painting since I was about 8. I took a couple art classes in college, but for the most part, I just love painting for myself and helping others learn how to paint, I guess. So I'm kind of thinking I'm just gonna focus on a part of this painting. That's the other thing. As I paint, I'll kind of point out things that work for me. But this whole thing can feel, if you're just beginning to paint, feel a little bit intimidating. And so what I like to do is, especially when we're on a time limit, is just kind of focus on an area, crop out an area of the painting that interests you the most. And so that's what I'm going to do. And also remember that it's your painting. You get to decide how your painting looks. That's your reality in essence, right? It's you get to kind of bend the rules and put leaves where you want, put petals where you want, and that is totally up to you. All right, so I've got a couple stalks here, stems that I'm going to put flowers on. And they kind of all come from this main stalk, right? So we got that going on. And then I'm just going to fill in some flowers or some leaves, excuse me. And I'll make maybe something, some sort of pot down here. I'm not sure if I'll get to that part. The part that we want to focus on is the flowers, so that's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to get this couple leaves in here, these gorgeous, huge leaves. So I'm using the same burnt sienna, I think it's burnt sienna or burnt umber, to burnt umber. Just sketch out kind of my flowers. And my leaves. And this one is a little more involved than yesterday's painting. So this is something that would probably take me a little longer to finish. And so having this timer set is really helpful in making sure that I keep to my challenge here. Okay. We got a couple leaves over here. And then we've got my pot down here, which I'm just going to kind of messily put something down there. Okay. So it's looking like a bit of a mess right now, but we'll come in with some color now. Cara says she didn't learn crafts until she was 20. No, she's 28, or she'd learned it at a younger age. Well, there's no time like the present, and it doesn't matter how old you were. I am so glad that you did learn it. And Cara is a crocheter, so how is your sea blanket going? I think a couple weeks ago you were working on a blanket. So I'm mixing a little of my green with this darker brown just to get my base coat down. It's the darker of the colors. I always like starting with my dark colors first. I get a messy base down, and then I come in with the original and a lighter color and bring in some depth. So you're adding some applique. Is that how you say it? To the blanket, Cara? That's interesting. That'll be fun. You have to share your creation with us. If you're not, Cara, part of the Crafty Living group, go join. I would love for you to share your art, your crocheting art in that group with us. It's such a cool, such a cool craft. It's the one craft I have not really given much into. Unfortunately, I've tried it. I should say that. But it's just not my forte. The group name is Crafty Living. Crafts with Birdie or something. Maybe it's just Crafty Living. I think the link, Cara, is in the description. Get all of these leaves filled in. Get our stalks in as green. Okay. We will start with that. So welcome. Make sure to say hi and let me know what you're doing tonight. I have my, I think I have my TikTok account figured out so that I can see comments fairly well. So I am pleased about that. I have done probably 10 lives on TikTok, and it just seems a little cumbersome compared to, like, say, Facebook. In regards to, I should say, regards to the comments and whatnot. Kind of a little bit harder to see those things. So I'm adding a little of that dark brown, that burnt umber to my red, and putting my base coat down for that. I'll put a little couple buds in here, which are not part of the picture, but again, the beauty of creating art is I get to decide my own reality in my painting. So okay, let's just make this one. And I think I'm going to put one right down in this little area here. We kind of got a little flower peeking down here. Also trying to keep my eye on the time so I don't go over my 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of the red now and add just a titch, tiny, 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 tiny bit of the white, and add a little bit of light to my flowers. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow and add that as well. Because they've kind of got just the tiniest bit of that corally, kind of orangey look to them. And we don't want it orange. All right, so I'm going to get just a little bit lighter just for a few of the petals. Bring a little bit of that yellow in there so it's not too pink. These flowers just have these beautiful layers upon layers of petals that are just kind of stacked on top of each other. Okay, I'm going to leave the flowers now for a second. And go back to my leaves. Make sure that I somewhat try and get most of my leaves in. So I'm going back with that second coat. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to my green to lighten it up. I'm going to bounce back and forth between that lighter green with the yellow and then the darker green with that burnt sienna. And the center stalk is actually pretty light colored. So we'll try and lighten that up. Sometimes leaves themselves can be a challenge. We have this notion of what a leaf should look like from school, or just the typical shape of a leaf, and sometimes getting through our brain to actually draw what we see, it can be a challenge. Got a little bit of some pink in there. All right, I think it's coming along. It's not perfect by any means, but I was able to get some painting in and just kind of relax a little bit. And that is the point of this exercise. It's never about perfection. It's about how art just makes us relax and heal. All right, I think I need to lighten up my flowers just a little bit. And maybe just get them a little more depth here. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of work on my flowers. I'm going to make some more of a corally, orangey color here. Maybe just kind of get these guys a little bit bigger. Feeling a little dark to me. what we can do to brighten them up. I'll layer some different petal lines in there. This little sad guy down here is pretty dark. Lighten him up. Okay, I think we're getting a little more depth here. Got a little more dark in there, a little more light. All right. I am going to, I think, call this good. I'm going to add a title here. I'm going to bring some color around the edges. I'm going to scratch in some color here. My pot. Let's bring in a little bit of some light. They look more like roses to me. Kind of went down the rose path, I think, on these, but that's all right. Okay. So there we go. I am calling that good. I'm going to add my title here. Make sure I spell the flower right. Let me bring that up again. Again, I am not a flower expert. So we are going to go Let's see here. We'll go on the side. Some block lettering. And then maybe we'll just come in with some scratchy marks with our paint pen here. And let's see. Bring some little white squiggles in here. All right, guys, I think we are done, and I have extra time left. Yay, I did it. Yesterday, I was a little bit over. I kept wanting to add stuff to it, and actually, I do want to add some dark splatters. So I'm getting my paintbrush full of water here, and we will just come out. I can get some dark on there. And just splatter. I don't have enough water. Oh, there we go. Perfect. There we go. All right, let me turn this up. So these are my begonias. I think I could have made my leaves just a little bit bigger because the leaves are pretty large in that flower, but overall, it was fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you join me in this challenge in painting a flower a day for February. And there are no rules, just paint, draw, whatever you like using as your art, whether it's watercolor, acrylic, oil, whatever it might be, crayons, markers. It's just to get us creating art every day. So I hope you join me in the challenge. If you'd like to share your work, I would love to see your progress. Come join us over in our Facebook group called Create Art, Painting with Birdie. It's a safe environment for us to share and encourage one another and inspire others with our own art and our own journey. So would love to have you in that group. So I am, let's see, make sure. Hi, Sandra, how are you? So yeah, I'm going to let you guys go, and we will visit with you again later. Bye.